Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome back to the channel. Today I am talking about Marneus Calgar. First thing to say, I really hope I pronounced that one right. I am not a massive fan of Warhammer 40,000 or Warhammer or any of the sort of the Games Workshop things by any stretch of the imagination. I collected some when I was younger. I had some of the combat cards. I have somewhere tucked away somewhere, I believe in Eldar Army, which I really wanted to sort of get around building, painting, and actually sort of taking part in, but I never found the time. So I need to get that one out there, that I am by no means a fanboy for Warhammer. With that said, I am a fan of Kieran Gillen, the writer. For anyone who has been following on with the channel, I do my die reviews quite often, and I love Kieran Gillen's writing mostly. So when I heard that Kieran Gillen was going to be doing a Marvel comic of Warhammer 40,000, I was kind of excited, to be honest. It was something that's obviously going to be a new product to comics. It's a new brand that's coming. Something that has been around for, now please correct me if I'm wrong, for any of you Games Workshop people, I think it's around 40 years or so. So it is something that has developed quite an extensive lore. There's a massive amount of backstory that's going there. And also, if I do pronounce any of these names wrong, please let me know, and let me know sort of how to pronounce it phonetically, because I do want to get these things right. So, first things first, I did miss out on the original cover, the first printing, but the more I look at it, I really do like the variant cover. I believe this is the second printing version. Yeah, so this is the second printing. Other thing that I picked up on quite quickly was this is a bright comic in terms of the colours. There's a lot of like yellows and reds, which we'll get into in a minute. There's really some bright colours in there. So it's from a Marvel perspective, it keeps that going. Marvel has always been quite a bright company. There are some aspects of Marvel that can be quite dark, but overall, I'd say as a majority, they are quite a bright company when it comes to their books. That to me is something that's very strange, because knowing very little about Warhammer, what I do know, it is quite a dark fantasy world. So the contrast between the two is strange, to say the least. Other than that, what I have to say is I love the fact that Marvel were not afraid to really go full into the violence. As you can see with that panel, for the first thing that struck me was, one, how incredibly beautiful it was. Now, let me get the artist, because I should know that one off the top of my head, but I don't. Jason Burrows. So the artwork by Jason Burrows, I thought was fantastic. I really thought it was amazing. It was a little bit cartoony in places, which I can understand if there are some people that don't like it, to sort of its detriment, because Warhammer, like I said, what I know of Warhammer is quite dark. So having this cartoony element that is quite colourful, I can understand if there are some hardcore fans of Warhammer that aren't particularly impressed with that. Overall, when it comes to the story, though, I think Kieran Gillen has done an incredible job. Now, like I said, I am not a big fan of Warhammer. I don't know the lore. I don't know the massive backstories. What I think Kieran Gillen has done very well here is given you a character with Marneus, and he has delivered the setup to what is potentially a very good story, and then he's given you the history of the character, or started the history with the character. And when there is a reference to a planet or a solar system, he does chuck in a whole page spread of giving you a little bit of detail about about the planet or about the solar system, about sort of where we are as a whole, which I thought was really interesting. This is the thing, I've forgotten the name already, but already I know there is an entire planet that is essentially for farming, for feeding the other planets in the solar system. Now that in itself I think is incredible. I love the idea. There are issues on that planet. There is a bit of I can't even call it a war, it's just a massacre. So that it's set up to be something kind of interesting. It's not something that I've ever thought to myself that we really need a Warhammer comic. It's not something that I've thought Marvel could do something like this. To me, the announcement when it came, I think it was last year, so it kind of came out of the blue, and I wasn't too sure how well it would match. I do have some Warhammer friends that are very into it, so I'd really be interested to hear what they think. I'm sure they would have the issues that I said about it being a very, very bright book, but I'm also sure that they would look at the amount of violence and gore in this and be kind of happy about that. Like I said, Marvel kind of do tend to shy away from massive amounts of violence in their books as a standard. Again, there are some Marvel books out there that are pushed towards a more adult audience that can have swearing, that can have violence. This clearly is not one of them. It doesn't have the Marvel Max logo or anything on it. Yeah, I was looking for any kind of other thing. It doesn't have anything on it to say that it's for a mature reader. So the fact they have not shied away from the blood and the violence, I think is incredibly interesting. I'm excited, to be honest. I don't know what they're going to do going forward, whether they're going to concentrate on the Space Marines or whether they're going to have spin-off books from this, looking at Blood Angels, looking at Eldar, looking at the Necronomicons. You could have, obviously, a large amount of spin-off books coming from this. It's entirely possible that Marvel are going to be looking at this and looking at how popular it is, whether it has been popular or not, and thinking whether they can do more with it or whether they just keep with the Space Marines. I personally think, considering the first printing of this book sold out very quickly, I think we're going to be seeing a lot more Warhammer books. But like I said, overall, I respect Kieran Gillen as a writer. I think he's a fantastic writer. I've loved, like I said, majority of the things that he's written. I don't know too much about the artist, but I kind of like the artwork. I am really interested to see where this goes, to be honest, and I love the fact that you get the backstory, but it's not sort of over encumbered. You don't get so much, the fact that you kind of feel dragged back. And so I'm excited to see where this goes. I believe issue 2 is already out, so I will be picking up 2, 3, 4. I'll keep going with the series for now, and let you guys know what I think about it later on down the line. But for anyone else, if there are some big Marvel fans out there that are interested in this, I'd say give it a go. If there are big Warhammer fans out there, let me know what you think about this comic down in the comments below. What did you think? What did you think about it? What did you like about it? What didn't you like about it? Do you think it's done justice to the world of Warhammer? Like I say, let me know what you think about it down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you guys, and I'll see you all in the next video.